Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Matt Tesaro is behind the camera, and this is a live show we do every day at 10:30 Eastern Time, where I give my official MLB picks. And yesterday had two winners, two nice winners with Arizona and Milwaukee. So I'm back up about 4 or 5 units or something like that. So once again, very thankful for that. Gives me a little bit of breathing room today. Today's a tough card, so let's get right into it because there's a lot of interesting stuff. I've got I'm not necessarily seeing any low-hanging fruit unless you want to count the Cincinnati Cubs game as low-hanging fruit, which is maybe the Cubs team total over it right now is 6.5. Bronson Arroyo, he's off of actually a decent start, but it feels like this is a bad spot for him. Feels like he's going to get absolutely shellacked here. It is a high, total. Obviously, the wind's blowing out in Wrigley, but the Cubs over 6.5 on the team total, maybe the full game over. And Lackey, been pitching very well. Feels like he's going to be vulnerable here as well. So maybe that counts as low-hanging fruit. Other than that, there's a lot of plays that look, borderline tempting to me, but nothing that really strikes me as an obvious play that I definitely want to take. And the only other play that looks like possible low-hanging fruit, but also looks like possible major trap is Washington with Strasburg as a big favorite over Pittsburgh on the road. Obviously, Cool is very hittable, and Washington a major lineup advantage, and it's not that high of a line. Strasburg coming off a bad start, but he has been very reliable this year, and I think he is very likely to revert back to a solid start, maybe even better than what his average has been this year. Still feels trappy, classic trappy situation, Matt Tesaro, right?
Classic trappy situation.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, it's classic trappy situation. I mean, you look at this line, you're like, all right, it's a high road favorite line, but you got Strasburg and Washington. I'm willing to take it, and sometimes that is a good bet. More often than not, though, it winds up being trappy, and Pittsburgh loses. And Washington loses. Although, if anyone watched my the show that I did with Drew Martin previewing the last bunch of series, the Baltimore KC series, I didn't call a sweep by KC, but I said KC might have some value in that series, and I indicated why. I don't feel that way about this Washington-Pittsburgh series. I do feel like Washington, even as a favorite, will probably be a team with value. So I might actually wind up putting Washington -1 on my official record. But those are my
house on it.
But
the house on it.
House on it. Yeah, it's tempting because once you make the first step where you're like, all right, I'll bet it, then you're like, it's definitely going to win. I'll bet it big.
How many other decisions do you have left to make at that point? Just how you going to spend your winnings.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. We got a bunch of questions which I will get to in a second. Let's see. And Dale 04 saying low hanging fruit today must be the Astros run line. And no, it could be. I mean, obviously, Miami is actually now the worst team in MLB at home in terms of home ROI, as well as I believe in May, and obviously, and Houston has been the best team in ROI in May, and they're one of the top teams on the road in terms of ROI as well. No, that doesn't strike me as just because the line is too high. The line is just too high. Keuchel is great. Miami is Miami's bad, but I don't think they're as bad as they have shown so far. And so, I don't think that is low hanging fruit. Miami obviously is terrible. They've lost 6 or 7 at home and blah, 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 blah. But Miami actually, they hit lefties well. So whenever you see lefty righty splits, you have to think about, how does that matter against an elite pitcher or a bad pitcher? If they're going up against an elite pitcher, does that matter? And if a team doesn't hit like the White Sox who hit right-handers terribly, if they're going up against Jared Weaver, do you throw that out the window? And I think at times you do. So that's the game is just if Houston was less of a favorite, similar to Toronto yesterday, I would probably think about taking them, but at that line, it just strikes me as a little bit too high. But I certainly, Kohler's been very hittable, terrible, and I certainly could understand, I certainly wouldn't lean against, wouldn't advise anyone off of taking, Houston. I would definitely take him on the run line if I was going to take him, though, for sure, because there's probably a lot of volatility in that game, definitely. All right, so let's see. Darvish money line on the mound. That's an interesting one. What are your thoughts on Nationals? I just talked about the Nationals for about 3 or 4 minutes. Justin Searcy saying Miami can't string together hits. Right. Yes, They're a bad team. Again, they hit lefties better, and they're not. I don't think they're as bad as they have shown recently. And it is just a big, I mean, if I had to pick one game, if I had to take Houston or Washington, I would take Washington. Maybe I would take neither one of them. All right, so let's see. Darvish on the mound. That's interesting. I'm actually leaning under on that one with Eichhoff on the other side, who has had control issues, right? And if he continues to have control issues, then Texas is probably a good bet, even as a big favorite. And it's just that Eichhoff has struggled badly in his last 3 starts, and with something like that, you're really just making an educated guess, right? Because you can assume he knows he's been struggling.
Educated.
Yeah, right. Educated is what you're going for. This is all educated guesses, I guess. Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. So Cleveland game under. No, I'm leaning over in that one, actually, and I actually bet that one. I understand that there are 2 starting pitchers going who are good. That's why the total is as low as it is. But again, I said this a few games ago, and it has turned out to be true. I do expect the Indians have underachieved both in terms of ROI and in terms of their offensive production. And I predicted that they would start picking it up in the summer months, and that's actually started up recently. Odorizzi's been very good. I also said I liked him after he came back off of his hamstring injury. And Salazar's a weird guy. I don't know if anyone's caught his first inning numbers are terrible, and then after that he's been much better. And he's again,
Juan points out the Rays score early, Salazar gives up runs early.
Right. Yes. But that's also something that he's aware of and looking to change. Overall, I am definitely have a modest, not huge, but modest lean to the over. And wow, I actually bet it at 8.5 on the overnight. Now it's up to 9, or even 9.5 at bookmaker.
Wow, really?
Yes, I bet it at 8. It opened at 8. I bet it at 8.5 on the overnight, and now it's up to 9. So that certainly makes me feel good about my bet. I don't know if I would want to give it that was one of my borderline plays. I was going to give it 8.5, but now I'd have to take 9 minus 1.
Yeah.
I'd have to take 9 minus 113. That's line at Pinnacle. Unbelievable. Then Brandon James saying Diamondbacks with Greinke tonight. Yes, that is another borderline pick. Again, though, it's a little bit of a high line. It reminds me of the Toronto game yesterday. Although I'll get to the Toronto game because that's one of the plays that I was thinking about giving today. It's another one. That's my probably closest to borderline play that I'm liking.
Michael likes the Diamondbacks first 5 on the run line.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that if you're going to take it, go with volatility. Malone, for sure. Remember, when his first start with the Mets, it was a relatively easy assignment. And even though he's been terrible, I did say that a lot of times when pitchers go to a new team and they have a relatively easy assignment in their first start, and they were terrible on the other team where they're coming from, they do tend to have a surprisingly good start their first time out. I agree that Malone is in for a shelling here. Pollock goes down. Pollock is out, though, for Arizona. And we remember when he went down last year, how bad that was. I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen this year. But
Jackson?
What?
Jackson?
AJ Pollock, AJ Pollock is going down, is out, and he is last year that was a big injury, and so
you got a lot of these teams who cannot afford injuries like that. There's a lot of not so deep benches in the baseball.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. And Mike Trout's coming back, and that's changed things for the Angels. All right, I got to let me think about what I want to give. So far, I've given no official picks. I've given a lot of opinions. I'm definitely leaning Toronto here. Now, I didn't take Toronto yesterday, which was a smart thing to do. Now they've got Estrada against Garcia, and Garcia has been having some major control issues, and Estrada's coming off a bad start, but he is definitely reliable, not lights out, but reliable. Will Garcia, fix his control issues? Maybe, but my sense is that more likely he won't. The Jays hit A's decently, and I was thinking about the Jays team total over. It's 4.5. Thinking about Jays -1, and I'll probably wind up taking one of those in going official on these. All right, so let's get to some questions before I haven't given any official plays yet. Okay, Daniel Weisler asking any team total plays. Yeah, the most obvious team total play to me is the Cubs just to crush Bronson Arroyo. Over 6.5, it's a high total, but as we know, when against that lineup, a pitcher who's vulnerable having an off day, that could go over in the first inning. You know what I mean?
Cub could probably
yeah, exactly. That could go over easily in the first inning. I mean, Bronson Arroyo is coming off of a good start, which sort of sets up for an even better fade in his next start, because as we know, Arroyo going forward is not long for the majors. So you want to pick your spots. Bronson Arroyo, Bartolo Colon, Mike Pelfrey, all these guys, Jared Weaver. all these guys are not long for the majors, and you want to pick your spots. You want to look to fade them while you have the chance. All right.
As
so
brutal. One of our friends here says one of his friends, the Jays, cost him an 18 parlay last night. Ugh.
Sweet Lord. An 18 parlay.
A little bit. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you could also look at that as being like he nailed 7 nice plays out of 8. So presumably he bet them individually as well. No?
I'm going to presume not.
Right. Yeah. We're going to always presume the stupidest. The stupidest play.
Could have been the most genius move. The Toronto came through last night.
Listen, I mean, like I said, I did bet that one small. I took a loss with it, and if the line had been lower, I would have bet it bigger. But the issue was that Cologne was definitely fadeable, but the Bolsinger wasn't much better on the other side. Not age related. He just is a borderline major league pitcher, and we saw what happened. I also took the over in that game last night, and that one cashed on the full game. And I'm vaguely leading over again on the 8.5 tonight in the Toronto game, even though Toronto's bats are clearly underachieving. All right, let's see. All right, let's get to some comments before I give my
the Rays, Indians, Rockies, and Twins lines look weird to Chris Carr.
The Rays, Indians. In what sense? In what way does the Rays line look weird? I mean, let me see.
Elaborate on this
a little bit high. Yeah, I mean, Odorizzi. Yeah, I mean, Salazar. Look, Cleveland is as you know, Matt Tesaro. Before the season started, I came into your office and I said, man, this Cleveland team might look like they might be an auto bet on all year. Obviously, that has not happened. Correct. But at some point, that sets up for a few. I think that they're going to be a good bet or maybe a great bet for an extended period of time over the summer. I think their offense is going to pick it up, so it's understandable why they're a big favorite. Yes, I like the over here, and as I said, I bet it on the overnight at 8.5. And Tampa Bay is I would take Tampa Bay at plus 160. I like Odorizzi. The issue is just that Cleveland also has a great pen, right? They have a much better pen, so it's I'm not going to take it on the full game. And I'm not going to bet it on the. It's a high line. Tempting to take Tampa Bay there as a small dog, and this is one of those. That's where there might be. It's so tricky. With like if you bet it at plus 160 and the fair line is plus 145, you're actually getting a good edge. But it's difficult to eyeball those kind of edges. Those kinds of games, it's really difficult to eyeball your edges. Those are the kinds of games where if you have a reliable model, you can comfortably bet those games. But if you bet Tampa Bay at plus 160. And they lose. How do you know whether they should have been 160, 180, or 145? If you're eyeballing it, that's a little bit tricky. So I am staying off of that one, and I did bet the over, and I've already gotten a half run on that one. So I would definitely be still leaning towards the over at 9. Okay.
All right.
So let's see other questions. A lot of questions still about Brenner. We addressed that at the end of yesterday's show. So please go and watch the end of yesterday's show where we did address that. Still questions coming in. I
assume that we'll get those for a while.
Yeah, a lot of love. Yeah, look, a lot of love for Mike
feelings.
Brenner. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I was gone, you would get a couple questions for a few hours for sure. So you'd want to address.
I mean, we might have to put a special video out.
And you'd want to address those questions. All right.
Let's see. New York Yankees team total.
New York Yankees. Okay, that game is pretty much, unless some other information comes in, a complete total pass for me. I gave my opinion that I liked KC at home against Baltimore in general, not expecting a sweep, just expecting some value. Of course, they did get a sweep. I'm not feeling the same way about this one with the Yankees. And, of course, the starting pitching is totally up in the air, right? Sabathia and Hamill. Sabathia is a fade going forward, but against this KC lineup, he might be okay. Hamill went to the stretch and had one good start and then got crushed in his last start. So, sorry to say that there's way too many unknowns in this one. It's a total pass for me. A lot of these games, should legitimately be passes, and you can make a strong argument that every single sports betting event should be a total pass for most people, but that's not the case. But I'm passing on that one. What to expect from Sabathia, what to expect from Hamill, really not sure. If it was a bigger dog line, I would take it. If the Yankees were a dog, I think the line is pretty close to where it is. And then again, you always want to be leaning under in these KC games, but with both these starting pitchers, I'm not going to take an under 9.5. If you gave me a free bet right now, I guess I would take the Yankees. Yay. But I wouldn't take the Yankees team total over, and it's going to be a pass for me for sure. All right. Cal 707 Bear, Pete, do you ever take the under? Tons of times. The hell are you talking about? tons of times. I don't know. I'm not one of these guys who makes the same kind of bet over and over again. I take the under all the time. Although I will say that in baseball, the more no-brainer bets do tend to be overs, right?
Yes.
There's there's obviously the unders go under by a smaller amount than overs tend to go over. So when I'm given plays that I really, really like, I guess there would tend to be a more over.
Actually, last night on the late night show with Donnie and Jeff, I believe Donnie brought up the point where unders in baseball are so tough because there's no time limit. The game could conceivably just go.
Yeah. That's why that's why you have to model it and eyeball it well if you're going to be betting it. All right. Let's see. Other questions. Milwaukee.
Boston, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. A guy asked about. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to every game. People ask about every game. Milwaukee over San Diego. That's another tough one. Another pass for me. And again, for a similar reason, both starting pitchers, Nelson and Richard. And I'm not afraid to take these games. I nailed Milwaukee on the second half yesterday. Nelson and Richard are both, it's unclear what you're going to get from him, right? Richard gets a lot of ground balls, similar to Perdomo. San Diego has a lot of pitchers like that, and he has a good record at home. He's had some good results at home so far this year, including, I believe, one game against Milwaukee. He also had one start where he got hit. And Nelson, similarly on the other side, is a guy who is probably going to have a decent start, but is also a guy who I'm not super jazzed on, and it's tough to take. Similar to the Baltimore KC series, a little bit tricky to take a big offensive team like Milwaukee when they go into a hitter-friendly park against a team that has been underachieving, as both San Diego and or just shitty as both San Diego and KC are. Whether you want to label them underachieving or shitty. So again, I gave a pick on that game yesterday. I gave Milwaukee second half. That one cashed today. I'd have a slight lean towards Milwaukee second half again, but that's a borderline lean, sure. But I'm not going to give it as a pick here, and that's the breakdown of that game. Richard can easily have another quality start, 7 innings, 2 runs, a lot of ground balls, and silence the Milwaukee bats. So a lot of certainly interesting games. One game I did bet. I'll tell you about the one game I did bet on the overnight, and I might give that one here. I did bet Colorado as a small road underdog. I took them at plus, I think I got actually 105, and now there's like a 108 available. But Colorado is the top team. Obviously, Colorado's great this year, right? They're the top team in the MLB ROI standings as of right now. They're also the top team on the road, and Minnesota has also been a team that has been very good at the road on the road, and has actually a double-digit negative ROI at home. They've been struggling at home. You have Freeland against Hughes. Freeland is okay, no great shakes, but obviously Hughes is very hittable as well. And so I like Colorado. I will give that one. Colorado on the full game money line, just the money line play, plus 108. Colorado. That's my first official pick here. And I would also be leaning towards Colorado on the second half. They, of course, have they revamped their bullpen this year, and they've gotten great results with it. They've been a great second half team. So I would also be leaning Colorado second half at minus 125. And I will give that one. Colorado, second half, minus 125. So I'm giving 2 plays on Colorado on this game. Hopefully I won't get burned by that, but, I like them both, and I did bet them both. All right, let's see. Other questions. And you know what?
What?
I will throw on Toronto -1. That's a fade of Garcia. Atlanta I've said it many times. How many times have I said Atlanta has a little bit of an undervalued offense? They put up a huge number yesterday, but this is a fade of Garcia, and I'm willing to be a believer in Estrada here. Again, I'm going to go with volatility, so I'm going to take the -1. So it's going to be about even money. Toronto -1. The money line part of that one is minus 138, and the run line part of that one is it's plus 152. So I'm going to get slightly plus money on that one. Toronto -1. That's my third pick officially. All right, let's see. Let's get some other questions here. Going to other questions. Oh, geez. All right. Let's see.
Boston Red Sox under 8. That game, not the total.
The Boston game under 8. Yeah. Let me refresh my memory of what that. Oh yeah, Rodriguez and Lynn. Yeah. I mean, Rodriguez is putting together a nice string of 6-inning starts, and I think that's for real. If you remember, he had some problems last year, and he was tipping his pitches, remember? And so he had to work out his mechanics, work out his possible pitch tipping, but he clearly had legitimate electric stuff, and I think it's decent to assume that he's going to have another strong 6-inning start here. Lynn, same way. You know, people were asking about Lynn when he came back from his surgery this year, and I said that I expect him to be a very reliable, solid starter, and that has been the case. So maybe I would take a shot with the first 5 innings under on that one, but I think it's just 4. So that's gonna be a pass for me. Listen, when the market nails these lines, there's 4.5s available. Maybe a shot with the first 5 innings under 4.5 in Boston, St. Louis. But, if you gave me a free bet, maybe I'd take a shot with that. But I'm not going to take it. I could easily see the game going over either in the first half. I mean, those guys are both, strong starters. But any of these major league pitchers can easily have an off start. 5 innings, 4 runs, and all of a sudden your first 5 innings underplay is looking screwed. So that's going to be a pass for me as well, right? Some days I do have 15 plays. We know that. But other days I have, 2, 3, or 4.
You just got to pass it.
Yeah, and the reason, you know why I don't force my bets every day? Because of the haters. Because if I do force my bets and I hemorrhage units, the haters will come on and I will have nothing to say. They can legitimately
really force anything. I mean,
that's right.
Force love.
That's
if you try to force a crew too hard, you might blow something out, blow an O-ring out, or get some hernia action.
That's a good point.
Force stuff.
The truth is, you should not force anything in life, not just sports bets. But you should really not force sports bets more than even other things in life. For love, you actually you could make a good argument that you should force it. Although that's not really force; that's just settling. You should never settle for a bet in baseball, but you should settle for love. Interesting little philosophical tangent we've just gone on. All right, so. Let's see. We've got. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see.
I think I got all mine covered.
Let's see. Got a lot of questions about Brenner. Yeah, we can't ignore them. I believe he's up on Twitter. Reach out to him and whatever he wants to tell you about. Where we all still love him here, including everyone in the company. I can say still absolutely loves him.
That one cleaning lady, I think.
Right. Yeah. Everyone has. All right. One guy asked about low-hanging fruit picking Pistol Pete. Yeah. He's asking for the low-hanging fruit. I guess the low-hanging fruit of the day is the Cubs team total over. I guess it would have
to be, right?
It would have to be, because by definition, the low-hanging fruit of the day is the fruit. There's no thought that goes into it. It's the first and obvious thing that comes to mind. So I guess the low-hanging, yet and still, I have not made that one an official. I've not added that to my official slate. So basically, it's like low-hanging fruit of the day that you're not sure if it's poisonous or not. Is what that is. That's what that is. Low-hanging. All right. And you know what I will do? Oh, God, Jesus Christ. I'll add it. Chicago Cubs team total over 6.5 plus 102. They got to hit Arroyo here. They got to hit him.
6.5 is a team total.
6.5.
Wow.
Yeah, that could be poisonous fruit there.
That's okay.
It's definitely low-hanging.
In the first inning.
Yeah, it could go over in the first inning. All right, I'll add that one on. Chicago Cubs team total over 6.5 plus 102. That is both low-hanging fruit and a forced play here, but I'll take that one. And all right, let's see. Other questions. Let's see. Great pick yesterday with Milwaukee. Krislak says, yeah, thanks. It was just okay. Someone asked about the White Sox. Holland has been solid. Yes, Holland was very unexpectedly solid. White Sox have come back down to earth as I thought they would. I'm definitely leaning White Sox on the second half here. I think that Holland might get roughed up a little bit. Ramirez has been solid, and the Angels have a good pen, but the White Sox, despite the fact their pen has come back down to earth, also still have a decent pen. Second half is a minus 120. So that's an official lean. White Sox second half. I'm not going to make it as a play. That's an official lean. And again, as far as the White Sox as a big dog, that's exactly the same situation as the Tampa Bay game, right? At about plus 160, they probably do have some value, but not a ton of value. So you're basically eyeballing a plus 160 line that should be about plus 145. So the White Sox, I think, do have some modest value at plus 160. And
hold on, we got a visitor.
More likely than not, if you how does this
and now she leaves.
Yeah, the dog here for some reason loved me here at SBR for many years. All right.
Not a secret. You give her crackers.
Yeah, I think that if you bet both the White Sox and Tampa Bay, probably one of them cashes. Now, but
speaking of the White Sox, have you noticed my strange hat?
The White Sox have Have a cool hat.
This is a Oaxaca Guerreros from the Mexican League.
What? Oh, is it?
They model all their team logos and stuff after.
Oh no, you got a small head.
It's a little big on me.
Damn, you got a small head. Damn.
6 7/8.
You a pinhead, dude. we should show that off some other time. I was not wrong being a pinhead. I got a big head.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Okay. Let's keep this going. The dog is in here. All right. So, yeah, I think that probably the White Sox at plus 160 do have some value. And probably I should give both the White Sox and Tampa Bay here as official picks. I will give them both as official leans, but not as official picks. Let's see. In remembrance of Brenner, let's all take the Cubs run line today. I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean the issue is just that I think that Cincinnati, of course, has been one of the most profitable teams in baseball, and the Cubs have not been profitable. Lackey's been good, but he's going to be vulnerable today as well. So I would lean full game over as well. First 5 innings over. I think we're going to see a lot of scoring today, and I'm definitely going to what.
Oh. I was saying, we're back there watching. We got 84 people watching right now.
Oh.
Let's go and hit the like button for us.
Yeah, is that a lot? Oh, hit the like button, please. 84 people watching. And if 84 people are watching, that means at least 8 of you like it, right?
Look, you are now witnessing our office dog tearing apart the garbage can behight Pete. And nobody's caring.
8 of you, if only
That's something I like.
If only 10% of you like this show, then please 8 of you hit the like button. All right, we'll go to other Colorado against Minnesota over. Yes, I would be leaning that way very slightly, and Colorado team total over is a stronger a lean for me as well. That's definitely a lean. I'm going to go over all my leans and my official picks. I'm going to summarize it at the end of this game. At the end of this video. But yeah, Minor Crafter says I like Cincinnati to crush Lackey. I agree. Cincinnati team total over is probably also a good bet, as is the first 5 innings over, as is the full game over. Would I take the Cubs? A guy asking, would you take the Cubs run line? It's easier bet on in the UK. No, I would not take the Cubs run line. If I liked the Cubs to put up a big number, I would take them on the team total over at 6.5, because again, expect the Reds to hit a lot as well. Okay, seems like we've that's about it for all the questions. Do you have any questions? Josh Miller saying better than that awful Yankees hat. Really? Okay, yeah, it is a cool hat. Hey, I don't know. Okay, let's see.
It's actually a bootleg one.
Yeah,
I bought it outside the stadium.
Nice.
Because I'm smart.
Okay, Shane Culmer saying Baltimore and White Sox, dog of the day, cash it, thank me later. I love when people say thank me later. It does exude confidence. It's also, well, yeah, look, I don't disagree with the White Sox at all. And then you got Baltimore. That one I disagree with. That's first of all, you're not getting a big line there. It's plus 110. And Miley is not someone I want to be betting on right now, although Boyd on the other side isn't much better. But, Baltimore struggled at KC, and I see them having similar struggles at Detroit as well. So we'll see. We'll see if we're thanking you later. Probably one of them does cash, but out of those two, I like the White Sox at plus 160 way more. All right, let's see. Eichhoff is horrible on the road. Yes, Texas on run line could have value, except that I'm liking the under on that one. No, Kevin Geifel saying Texas Philly over 8.5. No, I'm liking the under. And let's see what that line is. It was 8.5, and now it is it's still about 8.5. So yeah, I guess all right. Okay, someone asking if people want to work in Costa Rica. Sportsbook Review asking if people want to work in Costa Rica. Are we inviting our viewers to apply for a job? I don't know.
Everybody can apply for a job.
I'm sorry?
Everybody can apply.
Yeah, everyone can apply. All right, so let's do we have any other questions? I will Krislek saying, Pete, you haven't accepted my Twitter request.
Join the club.
Incorrectly. My Twitter is open. My Twitter is not blocked anymore. So anyone can join. And I will say that my last Twitter pick, San Antonio Stars WNBA, and I'm going to be tweeting out WNBA picks all WNBA season long. My first one was a winner, so I'm off to a decent start in a tiny sample size in WNBA. All right, so let's sum up here. I will sum up my leans, which are many, and my official picks, which are few. Atlanta, Toronto, yes. Toronto -1 is an official pick. Tampa Bay-Cleveland, I bet the over at 8.5, and I will add the over 9 as an official lean, not as an official pick though. And I will also, Tampa Bay is not an official lean, but as a big dog, they probably have some value. Washington -1, should I make that one an official pick? No. I'm going to. I believe in the lineup, and I believe it's just like Chad Kuhl is so hittable. I mean, if Kuhl gets shelled, then you cash. If Strasburg has a 7-inning 2-run start, you're probably cashing. If both pitchers have a great start or both pitchers get hit, then you're probably cashing because of Washington's superior lineup. So I will add Washington -1, and it has gotten bet up a little bit from what I got on the overnight. -160 on the money line, and the run line part +103. So, that's not a huge line. If it loses, I'm losing, a unit and 1.2 units. All right.
A little bit.
A little bit of, no, but it's okay. If it loses, I'll be okay. Washington -1 is now an official pick.
Here, Billy. It's a little early for us.
Houston, Miami, as of right now, is a pass. I have to look into it more. Obviously, Houston's been great. Miami's been terrible. Baltimore, Detroit, I'm leaning under, but I'm not going to give that one as an official pick. But I do have an official lean on that one, despite the horrible starting pitching to the under 9.5. But that's definitely just a lean. That's not a pick. Let's see. Philly and Texas. Definitely leaning Philly on the second half. Yes, Eichhoff has been horrible, and Darvish is definitely in a nice groove. So Philly on the second half +110 is a lean. I'm going to hold off on that one as an official pick, though, but that's definitely a lean. Cincinnati and the Cubs. The Cubs team total over is an official pick. I'm also leaning full game over. I'm also leaning Cincinnati team total over, and I'm also leaning first 5 innings over. But I'm just going to stick with the Cubs team total over, although all those other overs I am definitely leaning towards. Colorado, I gave official as a pick. The money line at a +108 and the second half at -125. And the team total over for Colorado at just 4.5, I'm definitely leaning towards as well. Maybe I will give that one. That's a tempting one. No, I'll hold off on that one because I've already given them 2 ways. But definitely Colorado team total over is definitely lean. Yankees, KC, total pass for me. Boston, St. Louis, total pass for me. Mets in Arizona. I can understand the argument for Arizona, with Greinke, and I wouldn't argue strongly against it. But I'm gonna hold off on that one. White Sox and Angels, yes, White Sox at that big of a line at the +160 is a lean for me, and I would also be leaning the White Sox second half on at -125 as well. Milwaukee, San Diego, that's a pass. Oakland, Seattle. That's a tough one. I could see the argument for Oakland on the first 5 because Strong has been struggling, although he had 1 start at home, which was good. So he might have that's a tough one. I can understand an argument for Oakland on the first 5, but Oakland's been terrible on the road. Seattle's actually been despite the fact that they haven't been that good, they have the second best home ROI in all of baseball. They've been great at home, and Oakland's been terrible on the road. So that one's a total pass for me. And the Dodgers-San Francisco game, as of right now, is a total pass for me as well. So that's the entire MLB card with all my official picks and all my official leans. And that's it. We answered all your questions. Matt Tesaro, do you have anything to wrap up?
I just would like to ask our viewers again, jam that like button, subscribe. Almost 30,000 people, can't be wrong. And come on back afterwards and leave some comments. Let us know what you were on tonight and what you think of Peter's.
That's right. And just as I mentioned earlier in the show, let's wrap it up. Arizona with Pollock out, I'd be careful with Arizona. Thomarino Tomar, who gives a lot of great opinions, says Arizona with Pollock out, I'd be careful with Arizona. So would I. And that's why the Arizona -1 line isn't even a lean for me. It's just I'm acknowledging that if you wanted to bet it, I can see the argument. Okay, that's about it. We'll be back.
Any Tinder updates? Yeah, you opened up a big old can of worms.
Yes, but that'll make this show go on for another 15 minutes.
We will get into that tomorrow.
Yeah, we've
Stay tuned.
A big update, and I need some pretty serious advice. Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Boy.
Okay. All right. That's
all
it.
Right,
that's for our show today. Yes. Maybe we'll talk about that in one of the days when there's fewer games on the card. 15 game card today in MLB. We touched on everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show.